Remember the last time you drove somewhere new without a GPS? That feeling of printing out directions, studying a map, creating a mental picture of the route? For many of us, that feels like a lifetime ago. Today, we just type in a destination and blindly follow the voice from our phone. It's incredibly convenient. But have you ever noticed that after arriving, you have almost no memory of how you got there? You couldn't drive it again without help. It's like you were a passenger in your own car. Your brain was never really engaged in the act of navigating. This is more than just a quirky side effect of modern technology. It's a powerful, real-world example of a phenomenon that scientists are growing increasingly concerned about. It's the idea that when we don't use parts of our brain, they begin to weaken, just like a muscle. This is called disuse atrophy. And as we begin to hand over more and more of our thinking to artificial intelligence, the question becomes terrifyingly relevant. Are we heading towards a future where our most critical cognitive skills atrophy? The evidence is starting to pile up, and it points to something far more profound than just a poor sense of direction. It suggests that our relationship with technology is fundamentally rewiring the very structure of our minds. To understand why relying on AI could be a problem, we first need to understand a core principle of our biology: neuroplasticity. Think of your brain not as a static, fixed object, but as a dynamic, living city. Every time you learn a new skill, think through a complex problem, or even just remember a phone number, you are building and reinforcing roads, or neural pathways, in that city. The more you travel down a specific road, the wider and more efficient it becomes. This is the use it part. Your brain physically changes based on what you do with it. But there's a flip side. The city also has a very efficient maintenance crew. Roads that fall into disuse don't just sit there, they get pruned away to free up resources for more high-traffic routes. This is the lose it part. It's the brain's way of staying efficient. If you stop practicing a language, those once strong neural pathways for vocabulary and grammar begin to weaken. If you stop playing the piano, the fine motor skills and muscle memory fade. This isn't a flaw, it's a feature of our biology. The brain adapts to the demands we place on it. But this raises a critical question in the age of AI. What happens when we stop placing demands on it? What happens when we outsource the mental heavy lifting of remembering, analyzing, and even creating? The muscle atrophy analogy is surprisingly accurate. A muscle that isn't challenged doesn't just stay the same, it wastes away. The fear is that by constantly offloading our thinking, we're telling our brains that certain cognitive muscles, like critical thinking and long-term memory, are no longer needed. And our brains, in their ruthless efficiency, might just start dismantling the roads we need to use them. This isn't just a theory. We can see it happening in a very specific, well-researched way every single time we turn on our car's navigation. Let's zoom in on that GPS example because it's the perfect case study. Neuroscientists have been fascinated by how our brains navigate, and their research has zeroed in on a specific region, the hippocampus. Think of the hippocampus as your brain's internal math maker. When you navigate on your own, you're actively using it. You spot landmarks, judge distances, and build a cognitive map of your surroundings. All this activity strengthens the hippocampus. But when you use a GPS, you switch off that entire system. You're no longer building a map, you're just following a series of simple commands. Turn left, go straight, turn right. Studies have shown that when we do this, the hippocampus shows significantly less activity. Even more concerning are the long-term effects. A compelling study found that people with greater lifetime GPS experience have worse spatial memory when they are asked to navigate without it. In a follow-up, researchers observed that the more a person had used GPS over a 3-year period, the steeper the decline in their hippocampal-dependent spatial memory. Essentially, the more they outsourced the task, the worse their brain became at doing it on its own. Some have argued that people with a poor sense of direction just use GPS more, but the research suggests that's not the case. It appears that extensive GPS use leads to the decline in spatial memory, not the other way around. This is the first clear, scientifically backed warning sign. It shows a direct link between outsourcing a cognitive task to technology and a measurable decline in the brain function responsible for that task. And if this can happen with something as simple as navigation, what happens when we start outsourcing more complex tasks? This is where a concept known as cognitive offloading becomes incredibly important. Cognitive offloading is the act of delegating a mental task to an external tool to reduce the cognitive load on your brain. It's something we've always done. Writing a to-do list is a form of cognitive offloading. Using a calculator is too. In many ways, it's a smart strategy. It frees up our working memory to focus on more complex, abstract thoughts. But with AI, we are supercharging this process. The convenience is seductive. Why memorize facts when you can Google them in a second? Why struggle to draft an email when ChatGPT can write it for you? Why learn to analyze data when an AI can give you the summary? The problem is that this convenience comes with a hidden cost. Researchers call it cognitive laziness or cognitive debt. Each time we offload a task, we miss an opportunity to exercise our brain. A study from MIT found that when students used AI to help write essays, their brains were less active and their memory was weaker compared to students who wrote without AI assistance. The brain scans showed less activity in the very areas responsible for organizing and understanding information. This creates a dangerous feedback loop. The more we offload, the rustier our own skills become, which makes us even more reliant on the technology. Sam Schechner, a tech reporter for the Wall Street Journal living in Paris, noticed this firsthand. He started using AI to help draft emails in French. Soon, he found himself struggling to find the right words in casual conversation, feeling his hard-won language skills begin to atrophy. This isn't about being for or against technology. It's about recognizing that there's a difference between using a tool and becoming dependent on it. And this growing dependency has led some scientists to coin a very alarming term for what might be happening to us. In 2012, long before the current AI boom, a German neuroscientist named Manfred Spitzer coined the term digital dementia. He wasn't talking about the clinical disease of dementia, but rather a set of dementia-like symptoms he observed in younger people who overused digital technology. These symptoms include forgetfulness, a short attention span, and difficulty multitasking. While digital dementia is not an officially recognized medical condition, the concerns it raises are being taken very seriously. The core idea is that the constant stream of notifications, the rapid task switching, and the information overload from our devices can overwhelm our cognitive resources. This can lead to a state of continuous, partial attention, where we struggle to focus deeply on any one thing. Think about it. The average smartphone user receives dozens of notifications a day. A 2021 study in Nature Communications found that even the mere presence of a smartphone can reduce your available cognitive capacity, because a part of your brain is constantly working to suppress the urge to check it. This creates a brain drain effect. When you combine this distracting environment with the habit of cognitive offloading to AI, the picture becomes more worrying. We're not only outsourcing specific tasks, but we're also training our brains to resist the deep, sustained focus required for critical thinking. We're becoming better at skimming and reacting, but potentially worse at concentrating, reasoning, and remembering. The symptoms described under the umbrella of digital dementia, impaired memory, a lack of focus, and poor problem-solving skills, are the exact opposite of what we need to thrive. But is the story all negative? Is it possible that AI could actually make us smarter? It's crucial to understand that AI is not inherently a dumbing down technology. In fact, when used correctly, it has the potential to be one of the most powerful cognitive enhancement tools ever created. This concept is known as augmented intelligence. Augmented intelligence isn't about replacing human thought, but enhancing it. It positions AI as a collaborative partner. Think of a doctor using an AI to scan thousands of medical records and patient histories to suggest possible diagnoses. The AI handles the massive data processing task, but the doctor brings experience, ethical judgment, and human understanding to make the final call. In this model, AI does the heavy lifting with data, while humans provide the creativity, critical thinking, and emotional intelligence. AI can help us see patterns we would miss, brainstorm ideas from new perspectives, and manage overwhelming amounts of information. For example, AI-powered learning platforms can tailor educational content to a student's individual needs, making learning more efficient and effective. The key difference here is intent. Are we using AI as a crutch to avoid thinking, or as a tool to help us think better and deeper? One path leads to cognitive atrophy, the other to a powerful synergy between human and machine intelligence. This isn't just a philosophical debate, it's a practical choice we have to make every day. The virtuous cycle is one where AI helps us build better thinking tools, which in turn makes us smarter and more capable of building even better AI. So if we want to avoid the pitfalls and embrace the potential, what do we actually need to do? The future of our cognitive health doesn't depend on abandoning AI. It depends on building a mindful, intentional relationship with it. The goal is to stay in the driver's seat. First, and most importantly, is the human-first approach. Before you turn to AI for a solution, engage your own brain first. If you need to write something, create your own outline and first draft. If you have a problem to solve, brainstorm your own potential solutions. Use AI to refine, challenge, and enhance your initial thoughts, not to generate them from scratch. Think of it as a collaborator, not a ghostwriter. Second, practice active engagement and verification. Don't passively accept AI-generated content. Question its responses. Fact-check its claims. This simple act of verification forces you to engage in critical thinking and evaluation, which are the very skills we're trying to preserve. Third, designate human brain-only tasks or time blocks. Maybe the first hour of your workday is AI-free, or perhaps creative brainstorming is always done analog, with a pen and paper. This creates cognitive friction, exercising your brain and preventing overdependence. Finally, use AI to level up, not level down. Instead of asking it for the answer, ask it to challenge your thinking. Ask it, what are the flaws in my argument? Or, what perspectives am I missing? This turns AI from a simple answer machine into a powerful sparring partner that sharpens your own intellect. By adopting these strategies, we shift from being passive consumers of AI output to active, critical users. We use the tool without letting the tool use us.
So, is AI a cause for concern? Yes. Over-reliance on any tool that does our thinking for us risks a disuse atrophy of our own minds. The cautionary tale of the GPS and the hippocampus is a stark warning of what can happen when convenience leads to cognitive complacency. But is it something we should panic about? No, because the outcome isn't predetermined. Neuroplasticity works both ways. Just as pathways can weaken from disuse, they can be strengthened through deliberate practice. The arrival of powerful AI doesn't mark the end of human thinking. Instead, it demands that we become more intentional about how we think. It's a call to action to treat our minds like the muscles they are, to challenge them, to exercise them, and to be the active architects of our own intellect. The future won't belong to the smartest AI, but to the humans who learn how to use it most wisely.
Do like and share this video if you found it interesting. Please subscribe to the channel for future videos that deal with the relationship between AI tools and humans. Thanks for watching.